In this video, I'm going to be sharing some real nuggets of gold. I'm talking about infinite return investments. I'm going to be talking about where our investors are, where they've come from, where they are now, and kind of returns that they're actually getting. I'm going to be talking about the banks, why they're not granting us 100% loans anymore. We're talking about the status of some of the deals. I'm going to share some of the good and the bad that's going on. What's worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, because those are things that are going to work the same for you. I'm also going to talk about the business lines, how they started, where they are now, including how and why we're giving away or given a money back guarantee for our trading courses, something we've just started. For those of you who like instant answers, I thank you for your patience. I can guarantee you on this, trust me on this, I'm packing in some serious nuggets of gold into this whole conversation I'm going to have today. You're going to learn a lot from your own perspective. You're going to learn a lot of money saving tips. I'm going to be sharing some information on how to reduce your hassle and time with your properties and with your investments. Without much further ado, March has been a great month for us. Cape Town particularly has been great. Jacques based in Argentina, he's had a great time over there as well. We've had a lot of late kind of summer sun. We've had a lot of late tourists. The tourists are returning. An expected 18 million tourists are coming to South Africa this year. COVID is definitely ending. Tourists are hungry to get away from Europe. It's a straight down route. Cape Town is very much jam-packed with Germans, Russians, well, not so much Russians anymore these days, Dutch, French, straight down route from straight flights, sunshine. Even our winter isn't as bad as that. So let's carry on looking what else happened this past March. Hay fever has kicked in, unfortunately. With the sunshine and the wind, definitely comes the hay fever. That's the bad, but the good for us now. April started. The rains have started again. That's good for me. The rivers are flowing. It's time to get the kayak out and hit some rapids. We've been working on the office around you, or I've been working on my office, been putting up some plastic kind of PVC on top of my shade net, and I'm spending more and more time out there thinking things through. And of course, now the rain has come along, I obviously want something to actually kind of keep me a little bit, kind of dry during the winter months. Okay, so let's start with the deals. Let's have a look at the deals that are important, the deals that are actually working down here. First deal over here. We secured this deal at 600,000 on a 1.8 million rand property. Now, it's 1.2 million rand in property in potential profit over there, but what you got to remember is there's quite a lot of work on this property. So the first part is I was actually surprised the banks accepted it. We looked at this property. They wanted 1.2 million rand for it. We went in, we had a look at it. It did not make sense at 1.2 million rand. The guys were on and putting a 600,000 rand deal. And I said, look, it's better to put the deal in because that's what we can pay in order for us to make a profit. They put no OTP on the table. We don't know. Put the 600,000 rand. She accepted it. That's gone to the banks. The banks then accepted it. So what I was talking about over here now earlier is that there's probably around 600,000 rand, if not more, probably 650 maybe even worth of work to be done. So already at 1.2, 1.25, even before we start to make profit. This one we looked at and said, actually, if we can't find a local builder who's going to work with us and partner with us over there, we're actually just going to sell this on to another investor, someone more local. If this had been in Cape Town, I would have gladly taken this on as my own unit and actually worked on it myself. Unfortunately, our partners up in Joburg are both extremely busy right now, and it just isn't worth their time to travel back and forth to this property and actually work on it and project manage it. So I'd rather find somebody who can project manage it and take it on board themselves. But still, a great price and a great lesson to everybody. Always get that OTP in. Okay, the next one, the UK deal. We have started dipping our toes overseas. Jacques, like I say, has now moved to Argentina for 2 or 3 years to be with his girlfriend. That is great news for him. He's now got quick access to the US. He's heading across with Henny from Big Pond Property. They're going to head into the southern markets of the US. Looking at some great returns over there, especially in the duplex and the fourplexes in the US. And it's going to offer us a way to give our investors over here the ability to get into international markets, specifically the US market. I'm, in the meantime, looking more at the UK market. We've got a deal at the moment. We partner with a local partner down here who has got a property. It was a small investment. We actually got an investor, a South African lady who's based out in working in China, who's going to invest into the UK. And that's the kind of stuff we can do nowadays. We don't need to be always where we are and where we're investing. We are investors into the actual deal, not necessarily the finer details of the property. That does mean we get very specific with who we partner with. But okay, that's going to be a HMO over there in the UK. It's busy building that. We're busy learning. We're cutting the ropes in that one, seeing how it all goes. Same as the US deal. Jacques going to be heading across there later this year. The Bloemfontein home, the refinancing that one. This is an important one for everybody. Okay, so we're making a nice consistent 3K per month profit on all of this. That includes all the contingencies we're putting in place for maintenance, for voids, for vacancies, but we're hitting a 92% occupancy rate on that. We've had Airstays, our sister company run by Melissa. She's automated the hell out of that property. We're hitting 92% occupancy. That is a great return on that one. So like I say, we're returning 3K per month. That's after all the contingencies and the business costs. It was the first property in there, so it's covering all the business costs, all the property costs, still making us 3K per month on average. We went to go refi this property. Now, we bought it below market value. I think we bought it at 355 or 355. There were somewhere between about 400 and 420. We knew we had equity in it. I did a quick deal with the seller. We were able to buy the deal on that day almost. But the thing is now we've gone back to the banks and they want to refi. And here's something important for the people who are doing this own property investment for themselves. They came back and they said to me, they want the annual financial statements for someone else that I'm partnering with on the other side. Now, we refinanced that property last year. We refinanced, I think it was about 750,000 Rand we were able to extract out of that on the refi over there. And it's strange in terms of Bloem Homes is owned by Zeta Homes, the parent company to all the homes, which I've got a 50% stake in from my trust, and my trust then owns another stake into the company that we mentioned previously. The banks picked us up and they said they wanted to see that. So for people who are doing refi, be very conscious now of how much you're doing refi and making sure you've got all your financial statements up to date that you can give it to them. Shouldn't be a problem. Just took us a bit of a while. We are at the end of year. We've just run the annual financial statements. I'm going to give it to them. I'll keep you guys updated on what happens with that one over there. Sorry, alarm on the phone going off. Always a good thing to pay attention to. Okay, so we refund. All of that does sound complicated. It's all part of our bread and butter. Once you've done it a few times, it does become easier refi. We are now in the phase though of, as I say, we're having the refi, so we're actually repaying our investor. Now this was a nice one. So this is Nick from PE. There's a couple of nice things that happened over here when people partner with us, in so much as that he got the property, so Bloem Homes was able to give him that first property. He's now got, he's made 5K per month profit last month, and I'll go into that in a second, like one of the similar kind of units. So here's the investor. We're refining that to repay him his money back, because he invested initially with that. He became an investor before he became a partner, and that's the way we like to do business. So we've done the investor debrief with him. In fact, he's been along the whole journey. He invested as an earn and learn investor. He's watched how everything's gone along. He's learned everything, and he's now operating his own company. Which brings me straight into that deal then with him that he's doing in Bloemfontein. We're doing that repayment stage. Our investor for him on his unit was Sajida. She's also reached the repayment phase. We're now going to be doing a debrief with her. I think it's on Monday or Tuesday evening. We start on these debriefs. This is for people who do the earn and learn with us. This isn't for the investor only kind of options that people can invest only with us. So the earn and learn option, you come along, we take along the entire journey. At the end, we repay your money plus your interest, plus we show you the whole deal from start to front. We're going to be sitting down with her, going from start to front. What is anything confusing, anything out of order, anything doesn't compute for you in that kind of sense? What do you want to know from us in terms of front to end? We're talking from the OTP stage to the handover phase, the running phase, the setup phase. So if you have a look at that one, when Airstays is now automated, like I just mentioned, last month we had 5K profit. That's after all of the bills. And this unit we only bought for 470, I think it was we bought it. 370. That's a great deal on that one. Airstays automated the hell out of that as well. And I'm going to go into Airstays in more details later on and what it means for you if you want us to come and automate your property, what automation means for you and the benefits it can have in terms of your revenue, in terms of your time saving. Whilst we're talking about Bloemfontein, Heinrich's done it again. Well done, Heinrich. He's gone out and found another unit for us. We know this market works in Bloemfontein. We're in a great location. We knew that before we went in. We ran our numbers. We ran our due diligence. We found another one. And we're looking at the Airbnbs right now for Bloemfontein. That is our strategy in the business up until around mid to late year, when we'll actually switch our strategy back to trying to find student accommodation. You've got a window in which you want to try and find student accommodation so that you can buy it almost as students are starting to come in. So we want that unit ready in January, say January, the first week of January. So we need to have it ready by December. which means a 3-month kind of transfer process plus a 1 month to do all our kind of work in it. We want it 4 months beforehand. November, October, November. So we're going to look at kind of like September period, maybe even August period when we're looking to actually buy and start taking ownership of a unit. So that is then the Bloemfontein new deal that's come up. I'm loving the automation that's coming. I got a text message the other day. Heinrich, the local partner, runs most of the stuff in terms of the day-to-day. But I got this text message. I'm going to send out a post about this later. You know, we got guaranteed, we got 90%. I want to talk about that for a second. STBB's the attorneys on that for the bank side. Bruno Samau for the conveyancing side. I love those three together. I'm very happy with them. They're very good at working together. I've worked with very bad conveyancers before. I do actually use bad conveyancers, I will tell you. Sometimes you want to slow a deal down on purpose and make it go through as quick as lightning. I've got conveyancers, Bruno Samau is one of them. If you want it to go through like lightning, you definitely want to be reaching out to him. If you want to slow it down, say you bought too soon in the student accommodation, I know I go to these conveyancers because they are notoriously bad and slow, but that'll give me an extra month or maybe even 2 months to delay the actual process so that I only take ownership of it in December, ready for the January period. What else did I want to talk about there? Securing other units in the complex. We know what to do. Like we said, we're going to automate that with Airbnb. Coming back up, let's have a look. UK deal spoken about. Pretoria fix and flip. We partnered with another person up in Pretoria. It's not our preferred method, but my dad was on there on this one. It was a nice return on investment for him. He's investing his retirement savings in this, getting much better returns than what you can on a normal retirement savings. It's pretty safe. Well, safer than what he's actually getting on his 3 to 5% return on investment on his retirement savings anyway. I've ran the numbers. My whole team has run the numbers. It's the benefit of a team. They will actually double and triple check what you're looking at. It is looking gorgeous. It's back on the market. It's in a great area. There's no chance that this will not sell. There's plenty of skin in the game on this one. There's plenty of fat built on. We know we're going to be making money out of this one. The one little note of caution on this one, learning lesson. Building worse can take longer in complexes. We knew this. We had anticipated that it could happen. We planned for the worst. We expected the best, but then the body corporates step in. The body corporates will always mess things up for you. They will come forward with rules and regulations and hours, and the neighbors will complain about it, and it's always a nightmare. You've got to just go through it. It's part of the actual game that you go through to actually get it ready. Okay, so that is in the Pretoria fix and flip. Dad's retirement's in on that. Let's have a look. The next one, the Boksburg deal. We've got Ziv, Yasin, my dad, 2 other investors in on that one as well. I'm not going to go into too much details about that. It's too early in the game. I want to keep it a bit quiet for now, but that is a great return on investment. It's a long-term project for us, a multi-million rand deal. Walker Wolf fix and flip property. This is Ralph up in Joburg. He's joined us on the West Rand. He's working on 2 deals. The property I mentioned above that we bought for 600,000, as well as this Walkerville deal. It came from a very good sourcing agent. It was a great price. The challenge we've had a couple of buyers come out. What we didn't realize in this area is that a lot of the buyers don't have the credit rating that they need to get a bond. And so the banks aren't giving them 100% bond. And it just makes it very, very painful for people trying to buy. And so we're getting sellers, we're signing up, they're getting the OTPs in, but when it actually comes to the bank giving the mortgage, they're not really giving the great mortgages. So it's a bit of a tricky situation. We had planned for a 7-month timeline on this. We are now in month 3. So we still got to take occupation and transfer. We do have backup plans in place. We can drop our price by another 70,000 before we start to break even. Plus we can put a person into rent to cover all our costs whilst we do that. So we're still going to be making money, just not as much as what we wanted to originally. Lechlo has joined us from that one from an investor's point of view. Okay, next one, my Amsterdam unit. This is a personal unit of mine. My last of the 2 units that I've got in my personal kind of entities. I've sold most of those out now. It's run from a company. I much prefer to invest into people, in the partnerships and into businesses than what I do actually in properties. That doesn't mean I'm not involved in property. It just means I do it as a shareholder perspective. So the Amsterdam unit. How is this for a challenge to try and solve? It's winter over there. Gas prices are going up. The Russian entity or challenges has hit us with Ukraine. and the heaters have failed. When I say they've failed, half the heater isn't getting hot, which means they're not getting the full heat. Now, Amsterdam does get cold. I think it was 11 degrees the other days over there. Spoke to the body corporate or the managing agent for the building. They're saying they can only turn it off in summer because they've got to turn off the entire building. How is that for a statement from a managing company, from managing clients? I haven't replied back to them. I was furious when I heard that. I said to my tenants, give me a day or two to calm down. I don't want to be writing an email in anger like that. I don't want my tenants to be experiencing that. But I've now got to convince a managing agent block how they should actually turn off the heating so that my people can get heat in. Fortunately, the heater is kind of staying warm, so it's not getting freezing cold, but they're not getting the temperature they would want to have. It's a problem I've got to solve. It's a problem that everyone's going to have to realize that when they get into property, they're going to have. More details on that. I'll keep you updated on the progress and what I do for a resolution on that one. New Blim deal. My own property in Pretoria. Oh, some properties are just a challenge from day one. Okay, so this one sold. The buyer got everything sorted out, got his bond approved. After that, he then pulled out. Now, what does that mean for me? I'm at a loss. I've had all these months of waiting for it to go through. He's then pulled out at the last minute. The attorneys have a right to claim because they have a physical cost, but I don't. And that is painful if anybody's selling their property. It means I've got more carrying costs through every single month. Nice part about that, I've got 2 buyers lined up and I've accepted 2 offers. Now, people are going to say you can't do that. You can't gazump. You can if you contract into it. So what I've got over there is saying, fine, I put a clause in there saying, I've accepted 2 offers. You both are aware of that. The first person to get the bank guarantee sent through to me will continue with the deal. The other one will then become null and void. So that's how I've managed to do that. 2 offers both accepted at full asking price. I'm happy about that. I just need this one to go through because I want this property off my back now. Investors, we've got 9 investors in a pipeline in that stage of waiting for the right property. That is both a curse and a blessing. It's nice to have investors, but we don't have the property. But it's like I said to my guys, I'm not accepting just any property. This has got to be full-on investment grade property. It's got to stand up to the stringent guidelines. It's got to make sure that it meets those numbers that we want to have and the criteria we want to have. Worst case scenario has got to be planned for. We will not drop our criteria for that. The investors who come on board will be fully understand and fully involved in this, and they want to see that we know what we're talking about. We've got a further 54 investors have signed up in various stages as well, basically just kind of in that asking a question phase, kind of watching us kind of phase. I urge you, sign up, watch what we do. I do send out emails to updates on latest deals and things like that. And then last but not least, Lucanio has moved back from Durban to Johannesburg. He's just starting up again now to look anywhere from Edenvale all the way across to Boksburg. So that is great news. 3 business entity updates: ZA Stockfell, ZA Sourcing, and Airstays. Okay, I'm going to start on ZA Stockfell. We're making some good progress on this. The intent is to be able to get investors the ability to invest on a monthly kind of basis. Not everyone can chuck up 150, 250, 500k in one chunk. We understand that, so we want to make it a bit more affordable to the everyday investor who can get involved with us on an earn and learn perspective. The lady we were going to bring in, unfortunately, her time, it can't be split that much. She's starting her own business. She's got her own life. Trying to split that with us and partner with us, that just wasn't working for her. And we understand. We said, okay, fine. Regrettably, she's going to walk away. We have lined up somebody else. We are in discussion for that. ZA Stockfell is certainly on the cards. I do want to make education more accessible to people so that they actually get paid to learn. So they invest into the Stockfell, and then we'll share all the information from that. And they're going to get access to some of our courses, which brings me on to the next business we started, ZA Sourcing. This is for people, we've just started off now, for people who want to learn how to do sourcing. Now, if you're an investor as well, you want to understand the dynamics of this as well. So I urge you, go and just watch that course, see what actually happens. We're releasing 2 more, a advanced course and a developments course. The advanced course is around running the numbers. Guarantee you, investor, if you understand the numbers, nobody will be pulling the wool over your eyes. Trust me, there are plenty of other people out there. We get them all the time. They come to us, they show us their numbers. They don't stand up to our scrutiny. And you've got to make sure with that, and you've got to make sure for your own self that you understand that, or that you trust the people you're working with very highly. You've known them for a while, you see what they do, they've got references like we do out there. Just make sure you work with the right people. Don't go and get burnt. Okay, so that is Sourcing. I'm in love with Sweleni on this one. Also, Lee and the two of them have done some amazing work on getting us going. We sold 2 courses in the first week after releasing it, and that's without even running ads or marketing. All we did was basically saying it's available. And we've got a further 5 people on the free course and 31 signed up asking for interest. And again, we need to understand with most people is they're not just going to jump in with us. The same as any investor won't. You know, you may be the go-getter out there, but you always want to people dip their toes first of all. Now, we prefer the people who are kind of like firm in their decision and they're resolute. But of course, we need to understand that everyone's different. So that's all now going into our CRM. It's being handled. So Lenny then monitors it. She tracks and goes, okay, no, I've spoken to you. I've put you through. I've sent you that information. So all of that is automated within our business. What else did I want to mention here for you? Okay, so this sourcing course, what is it about? It's about how to kind of analyze a deal from a very quick, dirty perspective. Well, not quick and dirty, from a quick and reliable perspective. Being able to get to the point of going, is this investment grade property or not? That is the question that everyone wants to know. You know, will investors buy this? Where do I find it? How do I find it? Who do I speak to? How do I get started and all this? And so that is the very first part of the property problem, which is find the property. The last part, of course, is finding the money. So that is going. The one thing we have realized now is, as with the training, it's fine to provide training to people, but the one thing we have realized, of course, is the Property Practitioners Act, and indeed it was there beforehand, but if you're sourcing on properties, you need to be an estate agent. The Property Practitioners Act says that, the AWB said that beforehand, and so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be starting an estate agency dedicated to sourcing agents so they can get legitimized. A lot of the sourcing agents in this country aren't really like that. It's not going to be all that costly, but it is important. Last little point I want to touch on over here before I do drop off is Airstays. We're on our 6th client there. Again, we haven't been doing much marketing. We're waiting for our first 10 to go through. I work with a Lord profile on this, Melissa. She is awesome, but you need to understand again with Melissa, she's going to want to have everything perfect before we can run. So we all agreed, myself, Jacques, and Melissa, would slow it down in the first 10, make sure that we've got everything buttoned down. We have noticed 1 or 2 little things. They weren't all that critical in my eyes, but for them, they were like, no, this has to be sorted out. The client has to have it 100%. Okay, great. So from that, like I mentioned, next unit's making 5K profit last month out of that on a 400,000 Rand purchase. That's after all the bills I mentioned earlier. Melissa is on top of this. She's got units. She's helping people in Cape Town, Port Elizabeth, Bloemfontein, Joburg, across this country. We've had people coming to us from Canada and from Costa Rica as well. This is growing. The ability to automate and reduce your time, make more money with less hours. I think Jacques put his at 4 to 6 hours less per week on his units because of this, because of that automation. It is something you really want to get in. If you've liked this video, please subscribe to my channel, head over to my YouTube, head to my website, meetmichaelbowen.com. I share this update once a month. I do share nuggets on you. I hope this has been valuable for you. Have a great day.